Azerbaijan's entry to Eurovision 2023 is Tell Me More by the twin duo TuralTuranX. But do we want them to tell us more in the final? Let's review the video. So Azerbaijan, for a long time, was one of the real powerhouses of Eurovision. They've had a rocky few years, even not qualifying in 2018. That's the only time they've never made it to the final, though. Their hopes this time ride with TuralTuranX. They're two, I think, 20-year-old twin brothers. They're sending quite a light song called Tell Me More. Here's a little snippet. That was Azerbaijan's song this year. Emily, are you wanting to hear more from them?
No, not really. It's a very strange one, isn't it? Because you're so right about Azerbaijan previously being kind of a powerhouse, and then the last few years, well, I mean, Effendi was, we thought she was great.
Oh, she was great, icon, both years.
But yeah, they've definitely kind of like dipped. But this is very different to what they normally send. They were very much on the money with kind of powerhouse female pop song. And this is the complete opposite in kind of every way. It feels very dated. It feels very kind of, I've seen a lot of comparisons with it being kind of like 2000s and 90s like Britpop. So, you know, whether that'll go down well in the UK, we'll wait and see. But yeah, I mean, but for me, it's kind of not great Britpop, and the song doesn't really seem to know what it wants to be. I mean, the first few kind of notes of it sounds like a Texas song, and it's just really, yeah, I don't really know why they chose it. It's a bit, it's an odd one, and everyone's like, oh, Azerbaijan sending something different. But it's not really good different. It's bad different. Yeah.
It does feel a little bit like, I do see what you mean about why they picked it, because it does feel a bit like the deadline, they thought it was like mid-April and have realized 2 days before the deadline, oh shit, it's 2 days away. What can we send? And this was the cassette that somebody had sent in, that like this twin brother's uncle once sent in like 4 years ago, and this is sort of what's been picked through desperation. I don't mind it. I really don't mind it, which is probably quite surprising because I've been quite harsh about some of the entries this year. I just think it's pleasant. It's perfectly pleasant. Pleasant doesn't often do very well at Eurovision because it doesn't stand out, and it is a little bit all over the place. The beginning of it, when they go, it sounds like the beginning of the Underwear song that the Minions sing. La bota. And when I hear it, that's a very rogue reference. But when I hear it, I can't then not hear the Minions. And I'm all surprised when they sing normally. I'm like, oh, okay.
I love that yours is thinking about Minions. And when I hear the first few notes of it, I think it sounds like Texas, say what you want.
We can tell.
It's a ha ha ha. Like, it's very, very much reminds me of
Texas and the Minions. That's our review of the Azerbaijan song. It's I mean, it's not bad. It's perfectly pleasant. But ultimately it's filler. It's filler. And I think they probably are going to Eurovision knowing they're filler, because if I had been put after Loreen in the running order, I wouldn't hold my.
I wouldn't be feeling too confident. Is probably right.
Yeah. Exactly. How do you stage something like this? They're not exactly going to put Catherine Wheels and trapeze artists and what can you do to make this more interesting staging wise? Not a whole lot. I think this is sort of Azerbaijan sending something to say they've entered something rather
Yeah,
than
there would have been a
surprise is
breather.
what
They're
it's meant to be.
taking their foot off the gas this year. They're like, oh, we
Exactly.
sent a Fendi. She didn't do as well as we thought she was going to do. So actually, we're just going to try a little bit less this year because we're a bit bitter about that.
Yeah. What did they say last year? Oh, they said Fade to Black last year,
Which was also a nothing.
which was very, very nothing. Do I prefer this to that? Maybe.
That didn't make it out of the semis, did it, either?
It did, but it was because of that song that they've now introduced this. Well, they've not said it. Unofficially, it is. That's why they've got rid of the jury vote in the semi-finals, because that song qualified purely from the juries. It's the only song ever in Eurovision that made it through to the final without getting a single televote point. Never happened before. And there was quite a lot of uproar, quite rightly, because nobody wanted it there and it made it through and it bombed in the final. And I think that's maybe they're sending this as like a, you know what I mean? Because this is nobody's going to vote for this. No one's going to vote for him. It's filler. So as we said, it's performing in the first semi-final. It's going 12th immediately after Loreen. Good luck with that. Do we think it's going to qualify? And what's our score out of 10?
No, it's not going to qualify. It's obviously in the harder semi-final. I don't think it'd even qualify if it was in the second semi-final. It's just going to be so unmemorable compared to kind of other stuff in that semi that I just can't see it. For me, it's a 5 out of 10. It's just kind of, it happens, and yeah, I don't really have much more to add.
Yeah, I'll give it a 5 as well. It happens, it stops happening. I'll get on with my life afterwards. That's when it comes on my Spotify playlist. Sometimes I listen to it, most times I'll skip it. So it's there. Try again next time, Azerbaijan.
Indeed. But that's it from this episode. Let us know whether you agree or disagree with us in the comments. Is Azerbaijan's entry, is it great? Let us know if you think so. We won't agree with you, but we will probably read your comments. But that's it from this episode. Thanks very much for watching.